What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the JTW Sports Show, or we can call it really the JW Sports Show today. TJ is not with us right now. He's sick. He has the COVID. So prayers.
Which I just got over.
Yeah, Will just got over it. We took a little bit of a break from recording. All of us have been a little sick. COVID's it's going around again, the Omicron variant. So, I think we took a little bit of break, but we're ready to get back. It's just in time for the playoff picture, man. And so that's what we're going to talk about today is the AFC side. Will, if you want to take it away, buddy.
Yeah, I'll take it away. Man, I am excited. I love playoff time. We just got done watching Georgia win their first national championship in college football.
Sure.
Sorry, first national championship in 41 years. That was an exciting game.
Don't hate.
We saw some players that are going to be next year they'll probably be playing in the playoffs. But as far as this year, AFC, looking at the AFC, there's some interesting matchups in this first round. The first one I wanted to talk about is a divisional matchup between the Patriots and the Bills.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be it's at Buffalo Saturday at 8:00. I think that is going to be a cold game. I think that last time they played was that Monday night game where neither team threw the ball, and it was a crazy game. The Patriots ended up winning. They dominated the Bills that night. They rushed for like 250 yards, something like that.
Yeah, I mean they were really only running the ball, like you said earlier. There wasn't much pass game going on. The wind chills were insane. The wind had like close to like 15, 20 miles per hour winds. Yeah, I mean the Patriots really showed that they have a solid run game. It's not like neither of these teams are great in the run. They're more pass heavy teams, but I think the winner of this game is going to be kind of how it was in the first matchup, where the winner's gonna win the ball or win the game through the run. And so,
yeah, I'm looking at the Patriots, and I'm going to take the Bills in this game because to me the Patriots didn't end the season well at all. Looking at when they beat the Bills, after that they lost the next week to the Colts. That was a bad loss on the week before Christmas, and then the day after Christmas they lost to the Bills actually. And then they beat the Jaguars. They put up 50, but like we're not really going to count that. And then they lost to the Dolphins last week. So like they haven't, and to me they just haven't ended the season good. I think Mac Jones showed some of his inexperience towards the end of the season, and so I think the Bills are going to take that one. It's going to be a matchup of quarterbacks because yes, the Patriots have a dominant run game, but I still think the Bills have one of, if not the best defense in the league, and I think that Josh Allen, after what happened last year when they fell short, he's out to prove himself.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's going to be a quarterback's matchup game. Josh Allen quite clearly is the better of the two, and obviously more experienced. He isn't a rookie, but also you got Bill Belichick on the other side. So it's going to be a tough matchup. Bill Belichick, you never want to bet against him, but I think this time I'm going to, simply due to the fact that he doesn't have an experienced quarterback, and that's huge in the playoffs. So.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills on that one. The next game is the game right before that, actually, on Saturday, between the Raiders and the Bengals. Now, we both watched it. Crazy story. I had to FaceTime you to finish watching the Raiders-Chargers game the other day.
What a game.
Yeah. What are your takes on this one? What do you think about this one? I think it's an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I really do like this Raiders team. Rich Bisaccia came in, as when obviously John Gruden was no longer the coach of the team, and he came in and proved that he is actually a good coach in this league, and he could – as an interim head coach, you don't have many expectations, but he took a solid roster, it's a pretty good team, and turned them into a playoff team. And I like what he did. I like his game plans. Derek Carr is one of the most consistent and one of the most clutch quarterbacks in the league right now. A lot of people disagree with that, but I've found it to be true. He has not lost an overtime game this year, and he was in, I think, 4 of them, maybe 5. So I like Derek Carr, man, but this Bengals team, man, they're looking really, really solid. And, Joe Burrow, he's looking like a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now. I don't know if I can place him there, but this season he's been looking like it. I like the Bengals. I don't like their man. It's tough to say, but I think I'm gonna take the Bengals on a slight edge.
Okay. I can see that. You were talking about Rich. Is it Versace? Is that how you say it?
Versace, yeah.
Yeah. I think they may offer him the job. Honestly, if they win this playoff game, I think he definitely gets the job.
Yeah, for sure.
But even if they lose, I wouldn't be opposed to him getting the job. I think that the X factor for this game is Darren Waller. Darren Waller he's been injured, hasn't played. I'm pretty sure he played last
Yeah,
week.
He did,
but barely. He didn't.
He wasn't much of an impact player, but
yeah.
Still have to perform in all plays.
I mean, their leading receiver this year has been Hunter Renfrow. At this point, before it was a surprise, but at this point, you know what you're going to get from Hunter Renfrow. This will be Derek Carr's first playoff game because the last time they made the playoffs was the year that he broke his leg in like week 14 or whatever, and they ended up making the playoffs. But I think if Darren Waller is healthy, I think that the Raiders can win. Because Cincinnati is young. Now, I like Cincinnati. We've talked about Cincinnati before. They're just really young, and like it's one of those that if they do lose, it's not really a letdown because nobody expected them to be 10-7 and in the playoffs this year.
But I mean, yeah, they are young, but they've been playing like vets. You got Joe Burrow, who he does have. I mean, again, I'm comparing this to his college life, but he has experience playing in the huge games. And, in college, obviously, he won the national championship. He played fantastic. He played well under pressure. And he's been doing that all this season. Jamar Chase, him and these LSU receivers, man, they're playing fantastic. He's looking
They had a little letdown last week, losing to the Browns last week of the season. I don't know if that's going to have any effect. I know that they didn't play Joe Burrow and a bunch of their starters, but the Browns didn't either, and they're a better team than the Browns.
Yeah.
And so that to me says that they might not have the depth, whereas I think the Raiders have maybe a little bit more depth than they do. And also the Raiders on the defensive side of the ball are way better than the Bengals, in my opinion, especially with Max Crosby.
Yeah, Max Crosby's fantastic. Yannick Ngakoue on the other side, great pass rush, and that's what's great about both of them is they are great pass rushers, but they also are run stoppers, and they have a weird mix between them, and they're not the only ones. I mean, they got other playmakers. Their secondaries they've been okay. Obviously, they had early in the season they had one of their players being released, so that kind of hurt them a little bit, but not too much. They've been good. They've been solid. It helps that they're playing in the division, with the Chiefs, and they see all these like high flying and pass heavy offenses all the time. I think they'll be okay. I love Joe Burrow, man. I think Joe Burrow's going to be the one. I think he's going to beat him. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a close game, and I think it's going to come down to hopefully a similar game to the Chargers game versus the Raiders.
Yeah, one thing that's crazy about all these matchups in the AFC is they're probably going to be really cold. You got to think there's a game in Cincinnati, a game in Buffalo, and then the next game that we're about to finish up with is the Steelers and the Chiefs. This game is – I don't know how to feel about this game because I think it could go one of two ways. I really think the Chiefs can blow them out, but I also think the Steelers could come out and upset them.
What's so because that?
What's up?
Is Ben Roethlisberger doesn't believe that. Big Ben came out in his press conference, and he was all like, "Oh yeah, we don't stand a chance. We're just out here to have fun." And I'm like, "Dude, what? You got to show."
I think he was trolling a little bit.
A little, he could have been, but still, you don't say
because everybody says that they shouldn't have made the playoffs and that Big Ben's not good anymore and all this, and he's like, "Look, we finished 9-7-1 and made the playoffs." Like, you know what I'm saying? I think he might have been trolling because as a quarterback, Big Ben knows better than to say that about his team.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. He's made some questionable decisions before, but I think he probably had some thought going into that one. Ben's been okay enough. He's been good enough this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
The skill around him. I mean, you got obviously Chase Claypool he's okay. He's been pretty good. Deontay Johnson.
I think he's a solid.
Probably a
Chase
top
Claypool's a
five,
solid number 2.
Huh?
Chase Claypool's a solid number 2 guy,
Yeah,
in my
no, I
opinion.
agree. And I think Deontay Johnson's a great number 1 for them. I think he's been very, very solid all year. He's been a top 5 to 7 receiver in the league this year. And I mean that's debatable, but I mean I see it, and that's still with Ben.
I mean production wise, yeah, he's been up there this year.
Great route runner. It's just he doesn't have the deep game quite necessarily because Ben can't give it to him deep. And just a lot of times you watch this Chiefs team and they're getting beat deep. You know, Daniel Sorensen, he's been solid, but he's not very great in the pass game. So I think that's gonna be how you beat them, and it'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, the Chiefs, like I remember we talked about them. They started off, they were like, I want to say they were like 2-4, and their record now is 12-5. I mean, they finished the end of the season hot. They lost to the Bengals 2 weeks ago, but other than that, they have won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They've won 9 out of the last 10. So they were actually 2-4.
And they lost to the Bengals through the deep attack. I mean, you had Jamar Chase.
A
record night. He had over 250 receiving yards, and he played great. And
Joe Burrow, 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like, he went crazy. And you look at the Chiefs early. Do what?
I said that's going to be how you beat the Chiefs. You have to beat them in the pass game.
Yeah. Like, looking at the games they lost to the Ravens. They lost to the Chargers. They lost to the Bills. I mean, all 3 of those teams have really good quarterbacks. They lost to the Bengals. They have a really good quarterback. I think we've seen that their defense this year is vulnerable, more vulnerable than it has been in the past when they've won a Super Bowl and made it to a Super Bowl. I think I'm gonna go Steelers on an upset here. I really do.
Wow. Okay.
And I think that if the Chiefs do win this game, I think they may win it all. But I really want to go with the Steelers on this. I think that they can pull it out.
I like your take. I mean, it depending on the odds, it could be something that these bettors bet on, and I'm still going to go with the Chiefs. It's a safe pick. I know it's boring, but I just at this point in Ben's career, I just don't think he's got the arm to be able to beat them deep, and that's going to be how you beat them. And I mean, their run game, Najee Harris has been fantastic. He does not look like a rookie. But this Chiefs team, this Chiefs defense in particular, is a lot better than people expect them to be. And they're going to come out firing. They're going to come out. They're going to stop the run. If I'm game planning, I'm keeping 7, 8 in the box the whole game. And I'm making Ben beat me with his arm. And if Ben can do kudos, great career. Hopefully, I mean, I don't like to see his career come to an end, but it's very, very likely that this will be the last game that ever plays him.
Yeah, I mean, and that would be a sad because I'm glad he got in the playoffs this last year. I really wanted him to make the playoffs. Like, you always want to go out on a good note, even if you don't win the Super Bowl. But
that's something that we had talked about, off cameras. Is I was on the side of like every quarterback wants to go out with a bang, but they want to go out with a win. And I think for Ben, winning the game and putting his team in position to make the playoffs, but then have something crazy like a tie in the Raiders-Chargers game, I think that could have been a cool way for him to go out. You go out on a win, you put your team in position to make playoffs. The luck didn't roll your way, but I hope he plays good. I don't want him to come out and throw a 3-interception stinker game and that be his last game.
Like he did last year in the playoffs.
Exactly. So I mean, love Big Ben.
Yeah, and actually that game is the Chiefs are 12.5-point favorites, which is the largest out of any of the games. Which I mean is expectable. That's expected.
Yeah. And if you're a bettor, I like that game. If you're trying to take.
Yeah. Some of the other ones that are going to be upsets. Yeah. Some of the other ones that are going to be upsets. You probably wouldn't win as much as you would with the Steelers. But that's the 3 games for this weekend. The Tennessee Titans have a bye. Lord knows how they kept it afloat and got the number 1 seed without Derrick Henry. who finished 6th in the league in rushing this year and only playing 10 games.
Hey, you know what, Will? I have to commend you a little bit because earlier in the season when we were doing power rankings, you put Packers 1, Titans 2, and those happen to be the 2 best teams in the league. You know, you got –
I know I kept the Titans out towards the end of the year, but because they didn't look good, but they kept winning, and they just it's one of those things. Like if you win, it doesn't matter as long as you win.
They are the 1 seed, but they're not the best team by any means in the AFC. I think I'm still taking.
I can see that.
Probably 2 other teams over them, but good for them. I mean, they're happy. You always got the risk of.
But if they get Derrick Henry back, are they the best team?
But they've been playing the past few weeks without him. You know, maybe they got their groove. They started winning. I don't know. I mean, I like to think things are only going to get better with the best running back in the league being added to the team, but that might change up some offensive game plans and just weird stuff like that. So, all luck to them. You never know with COVID and injuries. It always kills teams. And I'm just hoping for a healthy way for all teams through the whole playoffs and to see just an interesting matchup in the finals.
Oh, yeah. Me too. Join us tomorrow for NFC Playoff Preview. We got a bunch of good games over there. I think there's more interesting games in the AFC side, in my opinion.
Interesting, yeah. I think there's better teams in the NFC side, but interesting matchups, yeah.
Yeah, and so we'll be back tomorrow with that. And any final thoughts?
No, that's about it. Go Dogs, national champs.
All right, we'll see you guys.
See ya.